Yo, welcome back to the Cap, episode 217. That is RJ Levichin. I am Nate Sperlin, and on this episode of the Cap, we talk about one project. We talk about Isaiah Rashad's The House is Burning. We discuss if it's extinguished or not. We call 911 to see if the fire department comes, and if they don't, then we're just gonna have to get a bunch of our neighbors, and then we're just gonna do the old hand the bucket to fill it with water and then throw the bucket of water on the fire like they do in the 1800s.
Don't call
So
if you have a
we're gonna
fire.
do
Do
that.
not call this man.
We also briefly talk about how the Lakers did the right thing and freed Russell Westbrook from the Washington Wizards. And
the Lakers have now decided to
this-
invest in bricks. Apparently, I didn't know that was the vibe.
Hey man, that's the best rebounding.
This man just said we.
lineup.
Were you about to say we?
Yeah, we. It's a we now. Lake Show all day. Anyway, you can watch us, RJ Levichin over there, and me, Nate Sperlin, on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Verbal, other DSPs as well. Tune in, episode 217. We talked about a lot. We really got a lot of content out of this Isaiah Rashad, The House is Burning album. So yeah, please. It's a good time. I had fun. I had fun recording it. RJ, did you have fun recording this?
Yes.
All right, good. And he's not saying that because it's contractually obligated to say it. Anyway, see you there. Yo, what's good? Welcome back to the Cap. It's episode 217 here. I am Nate Sperlin. That is RJ Levichin. It's your weekly tour through hip hop. RJ, how are you doing today?
Hey man, I'm bobbing.
Actually, wait, hello. I'm gonna stop you right there. I meant to do that, by the way, but I'm gonna stop you right there. Happy birthday, RJ. How you what's up?
Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Kobe here. You know, got my Kobe poster right there. Big things. And I'm gonna be embodying the Black Mamba for the rest of my life, but specifically in this rotation. Feel me?
What did you do for your birthday?
I just hung out with some friends. There were a lot of intoxication, and I feel like I should tell the viewers, you know, it's not good to drink responsibly. Like when they do the commercials and say drink responsibly, appease that shit. Drink responsibly, because I was not, and I should have.
First of all, yes, you should drink responsibly, but I feel like everybody just lies to themselves because then they have this moment when they're all like, wow, when they're all like, I'm never going to drink again, only for the next day for them to drink.
Oh, yeah. No, that was, hours. Hours. It was hours.
Man, shout out RJ for being honest. You know, we're here. Honesty is important.
I'm never drinking again, though. I've quit.
All right, now he's lying, and you gotta, that was just a laughable thing to say. You feel me? And you know we gotta boo. Stop lying. Why the fuck you lying?
Nah, no cap.
Why
I'm
you
quitting.
always lying? We should get a face painter. Paint your face like a lion, like a lion, so then you could be a liar. Yeah. That makes sense.
Y'all see this?
Anyway.
See, I don't have a board. I can't boo him back. I don't have, but he knows that he deserves it. And y'all know that he deserves it. So we're all gonna boo. We're all gonna do it together. Boo this nigga. If you listen to the boo this nigga.
This is RJ. Right there. It's a lion roar. Look at him. Yeah. I'm doing good. Yeah.
I didn't ask you.
Yeah, I felt like someone at some point in time, someone either watching this or listening to this was gonna be like, yeah, we got how RJ's doing, but how is Nate doing? So I'm gonna answer that question. I'm doing fine, you know, living life, trying to figure it out all one step at a time, you know. Yeah, I had a great time upstate. Yeah, I went to a winery for the first time.
Really? You got to taste some wine?
Oh yeah. And I went to
I'm trying to do some wine tasting.
Oh,
I ain't get no invite, nigga. My birthday, I ain't get no invite.
You had your own thing going. My fault. I'm sorry. I didn't want to impede. I didn't want to impede on your responsible drinking.
Yeah, clearly you were doing responsibly drinking.
Oh,
you
yeah,
were responsibly drinking.
Oh, yeah.
You're supposed to, you know.
I'm a role model.
That's what I mean, exactly.
All right, my fault.
I needed a role model this weekend. Where was you at?
You're right. My fault. You know what? I dropped the ball there, man. I'm sorry.
That's
You know what? I
crazy.
dropped the ball. I deserve that. Boo. Yeah,
See?
man. I feel worse than Des Bryant against the Green Bay Packers.
See, this man, he getting deep. He getting deep with it.
He caught that shit. Des caught it.
Nah, he did.
Des caught it.
On God, he caught it.
Oh yeah, Des caught it. That was some dumb shit. But yeah.
He caught it.
Anyway, let's get this back. Let's get this train off the derailed tracks. Let's move it to the local tracks, I guess. Because the express tracks got derailed. I don't know. But yeah. Shout out to everybody who is everybody and everybody who doesn't know who everybody is. Thanks for listening. Whether you're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Verbal, other DSPs that it's a lot.
It's a lot.
You see, RJ understands. I hope you understand too. Do us a favor, hit the like button and subscribe. Hit the thank you for hitting the like button and subscribing. I appreciate it. Everybody appreciates it. Everybody who doesn't know who everybody is appreciates it. You feel me? Also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at OldMilk Media. That being said, this is where let's get right into it. We have one project to talk about.
We talked about a whole lot of shit, and then this man said, "Let's get right into it."
We have Isaiah Rashad's "The House Is Burning." I believe, is this the first album that's been released this year from TDE?
Yeah, I was about to say, I think the top dog summer, has it started, or like?
It's about to be fall.
Hey, all I know is it's Yeezy season. That's all I know.
All right,
all I know. It's Yeezy season.
Oh my God. Okay, we'll get to that later in the podcast. RJ, our frequent derailer. I should call somebody. I feel like I should call like a track maintenance to MTA or something for this podcast. Even though it'll probably take them 5 years to respond. And
I'm an Amtrak type.
And then they'll spend millions of dollars on something that won't be seen and waste money. And then say, hey, how about that $3 per ride? And we'll be like, no.
What? Yo, I'm telling y'all, lucky I don't have a board. I'm gonna get a board just to boo this nigga. So I swear to God, bro. But one album.
Yes, Isaiah Rashad. The house is burning. The house is on fire. We need to call the fire department. 911. What is your emergency? Hi. Yes, the house is burning. Please. Which house?
That wasn't my house.
Let's take a second. Let's take a second and just reflect on that. Which house is burning?
The White House.
The White House is blocked. Anyway, Isaiah Rashad, The House is Burning, 16 tracks, 48 minutes long, features Lil Uzi Vert, Duke Deuce, Smino, Amindi, J-Rock, Jay Worthy, I Am Doechii, Cal Banks, YG Tut, SZA, and Black. RJ, what were your first initial thoughts on Isaiah Rashad's "The House Is Burning"? Were the flames extinguished, or is it still going? Like, are you seeing the smog?
It was. I like the album. I enjoyed it. I think my second listen was a lot better than my first listen. But what I think was weird for me is there were clear hit attempts on this album where I think he was doing more upbeat stuff and he was trying to be a little bit catchier and do iconic, memorable things on songs so that they would get the radio replay. And I didn't feel like they deserved radio. I don't feel like a lot of these songs deserve radio replay. I think they're good. It's good music. But similar to the Tyler album, the wow moments did not wow me, but I enjoyed there's no song that I did. There's not a song where I'm like, I'm skipping this. There's no skips on this album, but the highs are not as high as A Sun's Tirade. Now, I'm not a big expectations person with artists at the level that Isaiah Rashad is. It's more consistency in the bars that you bring, the music that you make. And I do think that he's been consistent with what he's been. I don't think that he underwhelmed me because there were no massive highlights on the album from the first 2 listens. But I do think that it's surprising that there weren't those highs when he clearly was trying to. And I don't know if that is necessarily him trying too hard. I don't know if that's just circumstance. I don't know if that's because of what he considers a hit for himself. Because at the end of the day, is that every artist has their own sound and everybody has their own, oh, this is what I think should be a hit. Some artists are like, I'm going to do the radio version, whatever. But at the end of the day, the highs weren't as high as the last album, but I love the album. I thought it was really good. And I think if you're actually an Isaiah Rashad fan, that this should, tide you over for not as long as the last
next
wait,
5 years,
but not 5 years.
It's like a Rick and Morty process.
Yeah, I mean, I want something new soon because I think that he tried some new stuff, and I want to see the expansion on that new stuff sooner rather than later.
All right. In the classic Skip Bayless way, my turn.
My turn.
You said it was my turn. You told me it's my turn. It's my turn. Anyway, this project is a project that I think is strictly for Isaiah Rashad fans. That being said, this being really the first full-length project from Isaiah Rashad that I've listened to, there isn't really anything that really makes me want to listen to Isaiah Rashad again. I think that the album isn't as cohesive as I'd like it to be. It kind of sounds like RJ said, a bunch of hit attempts. And that being said, it doesn't really play as one full album. It plays more like just some songs that were put together. Also factoring in the 5-year gap between this project and the Sun's Tirade, I was expecting something that was going to be clearly great. This is not that. Not to say it's bad. I don't think it's, like I said, I think it's for Isaiah Rashad fans. But in terms of from the perspective of a new fan or someone who is trying to see what the hype is about over Isaiah Rashad, because people have been talking about the Sun's Tirade for half a decade almost, and this doesn't really meet all the expectations and hype that has been gathered by me in talking to other people about Isaiah Rashad and hearing how they feel about it. So also, one thing I will say with that too is that I think that the rollout for Isaiah Rashad's album wasn't as concise as it should have been. He dropped his first he dropped his first single in May. He dropped another one in June. He dropped a third one in July, and it's the last week of July and we're getting the album. So I don't really think that any of the singles were really anything for the fan who has no opinion of Isaiah Rashad yet to be like, okay, I'm gonna play this nonstop and then I'm excited for the album. I don't really think that much was really done from the singles to get me excited for the album. So I was really just going based off of, okay, people love him. It's been 5 years since he released a full album. And based on that alone, I feel like the album should have been better.
I mean, I think for the people that were causing the hype, it will satisfy them. I do agree with you that there is a stagnantness to the project that I think can feel abrupt comparing it to Isaiah Rashad albums of the past. But again, I mean, it's too early. It's technically his second album.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're in a sophomore, this may be a sophomore slump type thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than good enough to have me excited for whatever the third album is. Now, I again agree, it doesn't make sense for an artist like him to take so much time off. I mean, he's also when he dropped the Sun's Tirade, he was still a young rapper.
Mhm.
If he waits the same amount of time as last time, he will no longer be a young rapper.
Mhm.
So it's not, I don't think that it's in his favor to wait that long. I don't think that he will. But I do think that it's the second listen for a lot of projects to me is key because your expectations had been forced to be checked, regardless of whether they hit expectations, didn't expectations exceeded, whatever. Listening to it again, like we both have said, I was like, oh yes, this is for Isaiah Rashad fans. Like I enjoy the Isaiah Rashad fans part of this project. But we also both acknowledge that there are hit attempts.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to consider who the hits are for, because the hit, I was like, oh, this is Isaiah Rashad type hit, but it's not a crossover, let me be a radio type.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How many hit attempts were on the Sun's Tirade, if you were to say? Like, do you think it was more cohesive than this one?
I don't think that I think that there were like 3 or 4, but I also think that it wasn't worrying about radio hip hop. It was about hip hop in general.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Kendrick does that too,
mm-hmm.
where a lot of his hits are not necessarily let me make what's lit right now. It's like, let me make a really good hip hop song, and then it hits.
Mm-hmm.
And that's honestly what I like about TDE in general, is that they I mean, we can go into the multiple reasons why they don't do it, mm-hmm. but they've never ever felt the reason to copy niggas or try to be niggas or let me hop on this nigga's sound. They've never, none of them. There's not a single individual on TDE because they're just that great. They're that special.
Even though Kendrick could easily do it if he wanted to.
Yeah, easily. This thing, if Kendrick,
he carried New Freezer.
I get mad at
put that on his back.
About Drake is because if Kendrick did what Drake tried to do, it wouldn't be fair. Like it wouldn't be fun. It would be like, we would be like, oh my God, Kendrick just kills everybody's flow on everybody. You know what I mean? But instead, Kendrick's like, let me just do my own shit and let me like do things that people wouldn't expect, because you already know that I can kill everybody and everything that they do. Is that, I don't know, Isaiah Rashad, in my opinion, was the heir to TDE. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that he's living up to the hype of that anymore. Yeah. And that's the only thing that comes with, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, when you talk about Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City, just those top 2, mm-hmm. is that he's not dropped a single album on either of those levels. And the Sun's Tirade was the closest thing to a Section 80 caliber album that had us all excited. And I think that this is one tier down. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to easily, because it's only one tier down, I'm completely fine being like, this is a sophomore slump album. He's gonna, like, the next album's still gonna be crazy. I'm completely fine with that. But I do agree that if you don't listen to Isaiah Rashad regularly, and you wasn't hyped for it because you've listened to all the shit that he's dropped, this is not gonna be the thing that's gonna put him into the Serato.
Yeah. My issue is that you're like, yes, it's a sophomore album technically, but the reason why I'm not pressed because I haven't heard from Kendrick Lamar in however many years is because I know when he comes back, he's going to deliver. The reason why I'm not pressed about Rihanna not releasing music since 2016 is because I know when she comes back, she's going to deliver. These are all the same amount of time frames as Isaiah Rashad.
You can't compare Isaiah Rashad to fucking Rihanna and Kendrick Lamar.
But here's the thing.
What are you talking about?
Here's the thing. No. Let me finish. Here's the thing. The thing is this. You artists have to earn their ability, have to earn the luxury of being able to release music whenever they want, whether they want to release it frequently or whether they want to release it sporadically.
I agree, sort of.
And for Isaiah Rashad there needed to be another album between this and the Sun's Tirade. There just needed to be. Because now, with this album, it's been 5 years. A fan like me, or a fan who had no opinion of Isaiah Rashad, isn't really coming away with the best impression of him, from what I'm understanding, on this project. So now it's like everyone's gonna talk about the Suns tirade. Cool. That was almost 5 years ago. Cool. That being said, there's nothing here that is going to ingratiate Isaiah Rashad to new listeners.
I agree.
So the reason why Rihanna and Kendrick Lamar can take these long breaks is because everyone's already listened to their music and everyone already has an opinion on it.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, yes.
The heavy majority of the people who have listened to their music really, really enjoy it.
Yes.
The Suns tirade, as good as people think it is, did not touch any of those levels in terms of popularity. It didn't.
No, it didn't.
So I think the issue and what I'm questioning, I guess, is I don't like how TDE handled Isaiah Rashad.
They didn't handle it well.
Because okay, the Suns tirade, I heard some people are saying, okay, it's best album of 2016, whatever. Cool. But it's only a select few people. So if you really want him to grow and he's supposed to be the heir to TDE and he's supposed to be number 2, supposed to be the Anthony Davis to Kendrick's LeBron, or the James Harden to Kendrick's KD, or I'd say reverse or whatever. But that being said, if he's supposed to do that, and there aren't that many people who really listen, who the popularity levels compared to Isaiah Rashad and Kendrick aren't nearly as remote. I don't even think Isaiah Rashad is as popular as Schoolboy Q, if I'm keeping it a buck.
He isn't. But that's not, I don't think that matters. I mean, I think that Schoolboy Q also was like one of the most, he was a top 5 beloved rapper for like a 2-year span after dropping Oxymoron.
Mm-hmm. But
so I don't think that you can't compare, because there's a bunch of people who like Schoolboy Q put himself at high as number 2 to the point where like it doesn't even matter, and then he came back with that part, and then it was like one of those things where he like became like he can do like 10 hits at a show like easy. Isaiah Rashad can't even do like 5 right now.
But that's the thing, you're saying that he's supposed to be the heir to TDE.
No. He was supposed to be the heir because the Suns tirade was the example of like was doubling down, but it was still like when Kendrick's done, not when Kendrick is currently in his prime right now. So I'm talking about it would be post prime, when Kendrick is not really, when they're not focusing on Kendrick, and Isaiah kind of directly evolves into that conscious but groovy rapper that can do multiple things. But I also think that like it's hard to be the predecessor or the successor to a guy like Kendrick.
He's 30.
Isaiah Rashad?
Yeah,
I know. That's why I said that next he cannot take that long between the next album and this album, because he is no longer a young rapper. It is no longer a potential thing. JID is like 30 something. So you can still be like a up and coming heir to the second guy. But when you're 35, 36, it's not gonna work like that.
We heard,
but he definitely still has time.
When did Revenge of the Dreamers come out? Last year, was it? Or was it 2 years ago?
Last year.
It was last year?
Yeah, I think so.
We heard from JID last year. Despite JID not dropping a solo album, we still heard from him.
That's the big thing about TDE artists in general, is that they don't do a lot of features.
Yeah, but
so that keeping your relevance when you haven't dropped. Because Kendrick Lamar, that's the thing that I feel like you're overlooking. There's a lot of people. Rihanna still has been doing stuff, keeping herself relevant. It's a lot of it. This is about relevancy, even if it's not in music. One of the greatest example being Tekashi 6ix9ine, is that Isaiah Rashad was not doing features, so like niggas was not thinking about him. Period. But the problem is that the niche that he fills has not been filled. If that makes sense, because the TDE niche of like their type of West Coast music where it's gangsta but conscious at the same time is not being filled anywhere else. There's not other artists that have the ability to flip through gangsta and conscious easily. Can you think of anybody? Because I know that they don't exist. Florida niggas are just Florida niggas. The Atlanta niggas, most of them are gangsta, and they're like, they're gangsta and they wear nice clothes, but they're not like being conscious. Chicago niggas, they're much more drill-esque than they are conscious.
I'd argue that Polo G has a few conscious bars, time to time.
A few, but he's not a conscious. He wouldn't consider himself a conscious rapper.
Okay.
And you know that he himself would subconsciously or consciously sacrifice consciousness for catchiness.
Yeah,
easily.
Okay, I think
he would. Okay, I'll take that back. You would never see him do the reverse.
Sacrifice catchiness for consciousness.
Yeah.
I think it's different because I think that with Polo G song, and then we'll get right back on track. I think with a Polo G song, he's mastered the hook game in his music so well that he doesn't really need, like, he affords himself the ability to be conscious in his verses because his hooks are catchy.
I kind of agree with that. I don't know if I fully agree with that, but I also think that the melodic, being honest is not the same as conscious, if that makes sense. So there are a lot of gangster rappers who I feel like paint vivid pictures of the experiences that they have, but are not talking about it in a conscious format. If that makes sense. Okay. And I think that Polo G is one of those rappers.
Well then in that case, I'd give you, you're right in terms of TDE having that niche and
that niche
not being filled.
Control.
You're right.
And that's the big thing, is that because it hasn't been replaced, an album like this can still be fine. Because I think that the only niggas that are on that level are the Dreamville niggas, and it's the reason why they get compared all the time. The other niggas that will be like, I can make conscious rap but still make groovy shit and can still make hits, it's the Dreamville niggas. Is that because JID also didn't drop, that it's not like they were like, oh, I was waiting for Isaiah Rashad, but because this other nigga came, like, I'm not waiting for him anymore. And that the niggas that want that type of rap are still like, these are the people that are going to supply it. So I think Isaiah Rashad is still going to get spins. I don't think he's going to grow in popularity. I think we're going to have to compare the album sales now to the album sales then. I also think that TDE did not push him well. It was not a well promoted album, period. I mean, you can't tell me that it was, because it just wasn't. I mean, Kendrick Lamar should be posting about every TDE album.
I'm not even going to hold you. Period. I'm not going to hold you. The way that this album had been, the rollout for this album over time had happened, I'm a slightly bit, but this is probably something that's going to be erased when he drops his first song. I'm slightly bit concerned about Young Thug's rollout. Young Thug? Yes. Young Thug's rollout doesn't matter. Because Young Thug's rollout does not matter. He was just on Tiny Desk concert last week. He announced an October release date. That's essentially the same amount of time as the Isaiah Rashad rollout. So maybe concern is not the right word, but I'm interested to see how Young Thug does it differently. Yeah, how Young Thug approaches his rollout, this slow burn strategy of a rollout, differently compared to how this one was handled. Because, like I said earlier, it was, I agree, like Isaiah Rashad would drop a single and then he disappeared, and we're like, where's the album? But he also pushed the album back. That's true. A month. That's true. And that's part of the reason why the rollout was fucked. I mean, also at the same time, though, that also adds to expectation. No, I agree. I agree. When you push something back, every issue with the new version is highlighted even more so. But at the end of the day, the problem with slow burn rollout, the way that Isaiah Rashad did it, is that if you're gonna do a slow burn rollout, it's because the album is finished. And there's things like sample clearancing, music video shoots, and photo shoots, and stuff like that you're doing during that time, not thinking about the music, not worrying about the music. The music is done. Maybe it needs to be mixed and mastered or whatever, but for the most part, it's done, signed, sealed, delivered. You've already sent it out to Spotify, whoever you're exact. Yeah, exact. Some type of shit like that. That's when the slow burn can work in your favor.
But if you are, unless you're Kanye West, and I think that this doesn't work for Kanye West either. I think that Kanye West fails at this execution. You can't be simultaneously trying to finish the album and promote the album and do all the other promotable shit. I think that with Isaiah Rashad, because he's not
I disagree with that. I think it works for Kanye well. I think that builds the mystique of Kanye West. I think that his role, I have not heard anything about Kanye West since the pre-Donda album release party, whatever that happened. That I haven't heard anything about Kanye West except for the fact that he's living in Mercedes-Benz Stadium and working. That's
real.
Yeah,
but that was the same thing as the Cruel Winter summer albums. When he dropped the 5, we just knew that nigga was working.
But that within itself serves as rollout.
I agree.
He doesn't have to do anything else.
But it's Kanye, and that's why it's rollout. Mm-hmm. If it was French Montana, and we just kept seeing that nigga working in the studio, we'd be like, why is it? Drop the shit or don't. Like, we wouldn't be like, oh, French in the studio, oh, cooking. Like, we would not be like that. Kanye is a different type of artist. If we see that nigga Kanye with 2 Chainz, we're like, ooh, what they cooking? Like, it don't even matter. Like, it can be a bum. Like, it can literally be like, who is that nigga? I don't know, but he with Kanye, so they gotta be cooking something. Like, and that's the difference, is that Isaiah, you can do this. And I think that Young Thug, the reason why it doesn't matter for Young Thug, and the reason why I said it doesn't matter for Young Thug, is Young Thug is gonna drop whatever he's gonna drop. And he has a fan base that's strong enough that if it's good,
I'm excited.
We'll know. If it's bad, we won't. That's it. He's one of those artists on that level.
Did you watch his Tiny Desk concert?
I didn't. I saw clips of it, and it was honestly not what I expected. But
I'm not gonna hold. I mean, the album's name is Punk, so that by itself says that it's gonna. I think it's gonna be on the level of experimentation that I always.
Girls Love Thugger.
Which one?
The country one.
Yeah, the Beautiful Thugger Girls.
Yeah, Beautiful Thugger Girls.
Thugger Girls. Like, I think it's going to be on the same level of experimentation as that. And because of that, I'm excited because Young Thug does not get enough credit as one of the most experimental rappers in hip hop.
I think that he gets more credit as his influence on the hip hop's use of flow and melody, to the point where, like, he doesn't need credit for that other stuff because this stuff is better.
I mean, but at the same time, I think that...
Because I also don't think that he's one of the best experimental artists because his popularity isn't like Beautiful Thugger Girls is an album that a bunch of people are like, y'all slept on this and you're still sleeping. And a bunch of people are like, yeah, I'm just going to continue to sleep. And that's the reason why I don't think that he gets that credit. I mean, because I think that the way to get that credit is like you drop an experimental album. Like fucking... Igor just went platinum. That's an example of you do something experimental and people react to it in a way where they can be like, okay, this nigga different because he can do something that we all didn't understand at first, but now we all love it. That's what I think is a great example person.
That might be Punk.
I think that Punk has to, would be the thing that has to show that where we can start saying he doesn't get the credit he deserves. But I don't know if he gets the credit for his experimentalness yet, because I think that
he deserves it, but I think he deserves it. Whether he gets it or not, he deserves it.
I mean, we always praise experimental shit over here. I mean, that's just
we're the experimental podcast.
Yeah, I mean, we also I feel like we like people trying out shit more than
trying out shit with intent.
Yeah, because I think that there's a lot of rappers, and even the lyrical rappers even the lyrical rappers, I feel like you listen to their shit and you're like, was your intent to be corny? Is that all that it was? Like, because I don't know what was really what we were doing here. That's when I listen to Logic, that's like how I feel. Were you just trying to be corny and like be like, ooh, I rap good? Was that like...
I'm not, you know what, man, I'm not gonna hold you. If Logic being one of the best lyricists that we have in this current stage of hip hop, I'm tight, because when people retire, I'd like for them to stay retired. I don't like the little back and forth. Like, I wasn't really hyped for the next Logic album, but I listened to it and it's good. It's good.
Well, all right. Well, we're talking about. No, we're not talking about that nigga. We're talking about Isaiah Rashad.
All right. What are your favorite tracks?
I was gonna ask you. I gotta look at this.
I have one.
Yeah, one. What is it?
What You Said. The third. I believe that's the third single with I Am Doechii.
That song is really good. What You Said is really good.
Yeah.
I like Dark Side, what you said, Claymore, and True Story.
Doechii might be next.
Well, we'll see. I think that would be cool. I fucked with them. I fucked with the vibes.
She has another song that she has another song that it's unique. It's like, I don't know. We might be she might be filling the void that's left by Tierra Whack's lack of music. Let me just say that.
Oh my God. Honestly, Tierra Whack is the best example of what we've been talking about.
In terms of Isaiah Rashad.
Is that
in terms of the lack of not being handled correctly.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, development does happen behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
But I sometimes I feel like artists are too afraid to drop an album that might not get the response that they want, that they don't drop at all.
Call it Ben Simmons syndrome.
Full circle. I guess so. Not for real, because I think that there's a lot of artists.
I just want to say, because the fans and people listening and watching don't know this. We were literally talking about Ben Simmons before we started this podcast, so that's why RJ said full circle.
And his lack of aggressiveness.
Free Joel Embiid from the clutches of a ball handler who can't shoot. That's what I want. The Kings need to do the right thing for the culture. The Lakers already did it. They already freed Westbrook from Washington. Shout out to the Lakers. Lake show all day. We lit. Either way, the agenda is fulfilled. I'm excited. Oh my God, I'm so excited. But that being said, I need the Kings. I need the Kings to do what's right and free De'Aaron Fox from the clutches of Sacramento and trade him to the Sixers for Ben Simmons.
All right, I'm not gonna get much deeper into that.
We'll go crazy.
We talking about Isaiah Rashad.
What are your favorite songs?
I gave you my favorite songs. So then we're done. Already.
Let's talk about basketball. Let's talk about how much of a better fit it would be for De'Aaron Fox and Joel Embiid to coexist. Get rid of Tobias Harris, maybe get Kawhi Leonard. Oh boy.
Oh my God. Lit. What are you talking about? I thought you were a Chicago fan.
I will trade, bro. I just want the players who literally have superstar ability and are superstars to be paired with teams that they deserve. And Joel Embiid was not treated right by his team when himself and Seth Curry are the only two players that score in the second half of a playoff game.
I think that the NBA needs to set up the league so that small market teams can still develop around good players and don't have to continue to put themselves in positions where they draft clearly talented players, go nowhere in circles and circles and circles, and then are forced to give their players to bigger market teams.
Apparently the clock is ticking on Zion in New Orleans.
The media likes to be the media. That's what I know. That's all I know.
That was an elegant way to put it.
The media loves to be the media, and they know, and we all know that.
Oh yeah, we do. The media be mediating. That's
media be mediating.
That's what should we call it? That's what Dame Lillard been going through.
At the end of the day, everybody wants to be in a big market. Zion, you want to be in blue and orange. We know. Just go. Make the request.
I would like to see it.
Make the request. You want to be with RJ? My name's RJ.
He needs to get
I'm on the bandwagon with you.
Oh, so you admit you a bandwagon?
No. I said. He wants to be with RJ. My name is RJ. I'm on the bandwagon with get him with RJ.
Oh yeah.
So that RJ can thrive.
Then all three of y'all can hang out together.
So if RJ's in New York can thrive,
yes,
we'll all thrive together.
Yes.
So Zion, bring your ass to New York so that RJ's can thrive.
Yes. Oh my God, what a riveting speech. I feel like going to war now. That was beautiful.
All right.
Anyway, that is RJ Levy-Chin. I am Nate Sperlin. This has been The Cap. This is episode 217, your weekly tour through hip hop.
Thanks
for listening.
Psych! Before we got here, hey yo, the baby, you thought she was the influence, bro. You thought she was the influence and nobody could stop you. I don't feel sorry. I don't feel sorry. Bozos get turned into clowns, all right? And you are looking like Boo Boo the Fool right now. I know you got your money. That silly apology that you dropped is not going to be enough. and you're gonna have to figure it out, because bro, you're not performing at another festival for another like 18, at least 36 months or something, bro. You're not performing at another festival for a minute, unless it's in Carolina, my guy. Sorry, not sorry.
Anything else?
Oh no. Oh, no. Oh, shout out to USA and the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? Sha'Carri, we miss you. I want you to know we miss you. Shout out Simone Biles. Protect your mental. Protect your chicken.
All right, Marshawn.
That's all I got. In the words of the great Beast Mode.
You're just here so you don't get fined?
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
All right. Well, congratulations. You're not getting fined. Shout out for that. But anyway, that is RJ Levychin. I am Nate Sperlin. This is your weekly tour through hip hop. This is episode 217 of The Cap. Thanks for listening and watching. Once again, do us a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think about Isaiah Rashad's album. If I'm wrong, you can just go ahead and we will argue in the comment section because I have time. So let's do it. Stay safe, wear a mask, wash your hands, protect yourself from Delta. I bet Delta Airlines is probably trying to rename themselves at this point because
Corona really took a hit.
Oh yeah,
the beer actually took a hit. That shit was crazy.
Yeah. So,
but that's also just because Americans are dumb.
We will, bro. All I know is Delta racked up a quadruple double, potentially a quintuple double last week with Rolling Loud and Lollapalooza. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, it went off.
That being said, see you next week. We will be back with a Kanye album. I'm skeptical.
Do not jinx that shit. Hey,
everyone
don't
should
jinx
be.
it. This nigga jinxed it. Oh Lord. Oh fuck.
We will see you next week. Thanks for watching.